After a long August recess, Hurd and the rest of Congress returned to Washington today. Members already had a jam-packed calendar to deal with. They have to fund the government, pay the nation's debts, and come up with aid for Hurricane Harvey victims. And now some of them also have to figure out a way to reassure Dreamers that they won't be deported.
The people united!
Hurd represents an area that is majority Latino, in Texas, but he's also a Republican, in Texas. He tried to strike a balance in his response to the end of DACA. Quote, "There is no doubt that our immigration system is broken. Congress must provide a permanent legislative solution for children brought here through no fault of their own," end quote. Between the administration's announcement today, Charlottesville, Trump's combative Phoenix speech, and the pardon of Joe Arpaio, the president is making it hard for a guy like Hurd, who wants to find a way to work with both sides. I spent a week with him recently as he tried to do just that. This is a story about how one moderate Republican spent his summer break dealing with President Trump. There are a lot of Dairy Queens in Texas, so Hurd hosts town halls in them every August.
I represent the big towns and the small towns. I represent the people that voted for me and didn't vote for me.
This is where he eats all those blizzards. The Texas 23rd Congressional District, 820 miles stretching along the U.S. border with Mexico. It has a large Latino population, and it swings wildly. In the last election, Hurd won narrowly, and so did Hillary Clinton. Hurd has been called the future of the GOP, but he looks and sounds nothing like the party base at the moment.
You voted against the Affordable Care Act?
I did not, actually. I didn't. I was only one of 5 Republicans that didn't.
Hurd says the success of Trumpian rhetoric is a blip. Old white guys are not going to save the grand old party. Demographic changes in Texas support Hurd's take on this.
If the Republican Party in Texas doesn't look like Texas, there's going to be problems in the future, right? And so I think I'm the vanguard when it comes to the Republican Party and parts of the community that we haven't appealed to.
So who is this guy? And what's his secret?
I spent 9.5 years as undercover officer in the CIA.
In that role, he had to brief members of Congress. He was not impressed.
I was in Kabul, Afghanistan, managing all of our undercover operations. And we had a CODEL, a congressional delegation, to hear about what's going on. And I walk in, I hear a member of Congress say, "Is the CIA going to cut this briefing short so we can get to the bazaar to buy rugs?" And then we walk in the briefing, and one of the members, been on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence for 5 years, raises his hand. He says, "Hurd, what's the difference between a Sunni and a Shia?" And I'm thinking he's getting ready to make a really inappropriate joke. And my response was, "I don't know, Congressman, what's the difference?" And I'm getting ready to go, bump, right? Face goes bright red, didn't know that difference in Islam.
So is the bizarre guy and the didn't know Sunni Shia guy, are they still in Congress?
No.
Hurd talks about finding simple solutions that aim to please both sides on most issues most of the time. This is what it sounds like at a Hurd town hall. Trump's wall?
Building a wall from sea to shining sea is the most expensive and least effective way to do border security.
Government shutdown?
Nobody's interested in shutting the government down. Shutting the government down actually costs more money.
Taxes?
Simplify the tax code, close loopholes, and bring the rates down.
Spending?
We got to double down on National Institute of Health. We got to make sure that we're doing the kind of basic research we need in order to solve these big problems.
Hurd was a computer science major, so he loves those nerdy tech fixes.
I'd rather lay a big 2 fiber optic cables along the border that can be used as a sensor. And by the way, we can tap into it to use high-speed internet access along many of these communities.
Does the district reflect you, or do you reflect the district?
I hope I reflect the district.
But I mean, do you find yourself a lot of times in your 50-50 district being like, man, I really would like to say this, but I can't because I have all these Democrats that I represent?
Look, I don't. Like I said, what you see is what you get. So let's say 71% Latino district. Nobody said the black dude could get elected in the Hispanic district.
What Hurd wants to be talking about is new software for the VA and teaching kids to code.
I'm here in Del Rio with one of my STEM advisors. Say hi to America.
Hi, America.
It's what he actually likes. It's also what actually works. Hurd doesn't talk much about President Trump, and people in his district don't ask a lot about him. He basically steers clear of the whole thing, and that's because finding middle ground on Trump is nearly impossible. But Hurd has tried it. How do you have a moderate position on Donald Trump?
My position on this president is the same position I had on the last president. I'm going to agree when I agree, and I'm going to disagree when I disagree.
Most of his recent 27-stop town hall tour happened right before Charlottesville. This interview took place hours before the death of Heather Heyer. At that moment, Hurd was still with Trump. Has the president earned your 2020 vote?
Man, 2020 is like a lifetime away.
So maybe not.
No, look, I think when it comes to national security, he's doing a great job.
So is that a yes then?
That is a yes.
12 days later, after roundly criticizing Trump on his response to Charlottesville, Hurd wasn't ready to say yes to Trump in 2020 anymore.
Do you support his renomination in 2020? He's clearly running. He's been on the campaign trail this week.
Yeah. Look, 2020 is a really long ways away.
Shouldn't that be a question that gets a simple yes from a Republican member of Congress?
Maybe it should, maybe it shouldn't.
Hurd was driving around Texas selling his brand of what it means to be a Republican.
Well, we're very proud of you. We're very proud of what you've done. Well, thank you.
But over and over again, Trump turned the focus back to a GOP that Hurd has to keep saying he's not a part of. Trump is the base's vision of the future. Hurd is the establishment's. The next couple of months in Washington will help determine which future Republicans really want.